Dead Workers Party on Smite, episode 38, recorded on February 16, 2014. I'm Brett Copeland.
I'm Eric Fullerton.
I'm Afro Monkey.
And I'm Nivicaris.
And we are on Smite.
We are on Smite.
Yeah.
And maybe some heroin. I'm not sure. What's going on?
Yeah, I think you're on meth, dude.
Oh, sorry. Let me straighten myself up here.
Brent's apparently very tired, so...
I'm not tired. We got smacked down in a pre-show fight.
Judging by the number of empty monster cans over here, I can guarantee that he is not tired right now.
We didn't get smacked down.
It's that exciting time of the week where we talk about Smite on this here podcast.
Yes.
It's my favorite type.
Yes.
And if you're listening, you are awesome.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Yeah!
I personally love you.
You rock.
In a biblical way.
And we may have some...
No, in a romantic way.
Oh, hey.
But we need to get serious. Get to the show because we may have new listeners this week because our man, Kevin... Aaron.
Our man. He's my man, too.
I don't know if that's how you say it. I've known him for like 50 years now. Half his gaming life. And this man went to someone on Reddit.
That's my entire gaming life.
There you go. And he went to a guy on Reddit and said, "Can you sticky my post about this podcast?"
Well, that sounds really dirty. So let me say
on the top of your forum.
On Reddit,
sir.
On the r/Smite Reddit, there is a little section on the sidebar that's like community portal or something. And I was going through that, and it has our podcast, or it has not the podcast actually. It says Dead Workers Party under the podcast section. So I emailed the mod that manages that that little content bit, and I was like, "Hey, could you update us? You know, maybe like put a link or just say like Dead Workers Party on Smite. You know, maybe just give it a little bit more." And he's like, "Yeah, sure, I can totally do that. Do you Would you also like it if I sticky a post that
still sounds dirty?
Yeah, if I pin a post that you guys make, you know, and keep it up on the top of the subreddit for a little bit, you know, I'll do it in a couple days, and that sounds awesome." So I made the post, and it was up there for about 2 days. It was actually up there for a pretty long time. And it was just kind of letting people know on the Reddit like who we are and where they can find us. I don't know. It was kind of controversial almost.
It was. Well, you know, there's a lot of good talk. There was one controversial person, I believe. I think it was only one person, really, right?
It was one person who led into another guy, really. Yeah, it was really one guy. Yeah, I'm looking through this. I'm going to call him out. Orange Fanta Mimi, if you're listening. You're controversial, but I love you because you're listening. So,
well, it was funny because we were on TeamSpeak and Kevin was upset because like they'd got all these downvotes, and now it's had 104 upvotes and 62 downvotes. It was like, and people were even saying in the thread, "Why are people downvoting this so hard?" You know, and this guy got all upset because he was like, "Well, this is just an abuse of power to have the moderator sticky his podcast up there." And like Kevin's like, there's the moderator's not on the podcast, and I'm like, he's not on the podcast. And this guy just kept going on, and I was finally like, so does this mean you're not listening to the show? But he said he would, so welcome as a new fan of the show because I'm sure you are.
Welcome.
I'm gonna get a little ahead of myself in the show notes and just in what Orange Fanta then said, he was like, "I'm commenting on the atrocious behavior the mods in this subreddit have," and to that post, 2 of the subreddit's mods responded like, what are you talking about? You got something to say to us? Like you wanna go somewhere with this, huh?" And not really. They didn't.
You want to take this outside?
Oh,
but they basically said, like if you have a problem with us, you should PM us. Don't start drama on someone else's thread. And in that, the next day there are a bunch of posts about. There's one, the mod made a post basically about like, "Hey subreddit, let's talk about this because obviously you guys aren't happy with what we're doing right now." And then that spawned a bunch of posts that were like, "Hi-Rez needs official forums." And then about 9 hours ago, Hi-Rez Stu made a post saying Hi-Rez is going to have official forums. So, by the transitive property, our podcast created the Smite official forums. You're all welcome.
Yeah.
We are not afraid to confront the controversial topics that happen in the Smite community. You know, we let you know when Bart and Kelly were going all BM on everyone, and we straightened that up real fast.
That's right.
And now they'll never talk to us again. No.
No.
And I'm joking about that.
They hate us.
They don't. We love each other. It's a nice, tight-knit. You're right, Kelly? Oh. She must have a fly in her throat or something.
Yeah, maybe
So I think I think it's pretty funny that I innocently just wanted, some people to see our show, and it caused a collapse of the subreddit, basically. So much that people were like screaming for an official forum, and Hi-Rez is gonna do one now because of this. Literally, he says, "We have heard you. We will make an official forum now." That's what he says in the book. He says, "All of that said, your calls have been heard. We will create official forums for the game."
And honestly, I think really what they could have done is just basically put a Hi-Rez employee as part of the moderator group. I know that's not really how. I don't know. Like,
so
it's their subreddit, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the things that a lot of them were saying. Is it's like the mods created this subreddit just because they wanted to make a Smite subreddit. Before, Hi-Rez didn't have forums. And then Hi-Rez got rid of its forums. We're like, we're going to move everything to the Smite forum. So basically, these mods are just like, Like, we're going to dump this responsibility on you, basically.
Yeah.
Is kind of what Hi-Rez did. Which has worked fine, I think, for a while.
I think it's better than forums. I hate that I feel like now I'll have to go to the forums and, like, dig through crap. Like,
I always have trouble finding information on forums.
Exactly. It's such an archaic way of, like, transferring forums. I mean, information, I think, to people. It just, I don't know. I think the Reddit is kind of the new kind of modern way. People are used to it. It's I don't know. It works.
It's not without its faults, but it seems to work better than the whole forums paradigm.
One of the issues I think a lot of people have had is just that, like, the fact that something can only, based on how Reddit works, its algorithm, something can only stay popular for 12 hours. Well, okay, you can say for about a day. It depends on how fast the subreddit moves. On this one, something can really only stay on the front page for about a day, almost independent of how many upvotes it has, because it'll get a lot of upvotes at the time, and then it'll fall off the front page because people will say everything that needed to be said. But then later, no one can. You can go back and comment on the thread, I guess, but no one's going to see it anymore.
Yeah.
It's going to be gone and forgotten about.
People are going to be bumping crap all the time. And above and beyond that, they're now going to have to, run their own forums. It's not hard, but it's still, they're going to have to pay someone to do it. And someone's now going to have to spend time doing this instead of, working on the game. Or they're going to have to hire someone to do it, and that's money for them.
Instead of adding Jesus Christ into the game.
Yeah,
they're gonna have to be messing around with forums and Reddits and
I don't know
stuff.
But if you really wanted the forums, you're welcome. I did it, so
good job, good job, Kevin.
Nice.
I'll be here all week. If you want money,
fired, sir.
Good game. Something. Eric, I see there's a lot here next to what you did this week. It's you wrote a paragraph or something. Yeah.
Cool.
So what'd you do?
So this week, okay, so I have Anubis up to almost 10. He's 9.5.
Nice.
But I got Neith and Anubis up to 9 in the same night. And so I was like, should I keep playing both of them and see who gets to 10 first? Or just focus on one. And honestly, I'm just focusing on one. So every solo arena match that I play Anubis. Unless we need a hunter, then of course I'll go Neith. But I don't know why. It's kind of recently, it kind of feels like I'm grinding like an MMO.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm having fun with the game, but I also kind of feel like I'm grinding. And that has kind of made me want to kind of try something new, basically forget my whole Anubis build that I've had for months and months, which I love, and it's been working. But I've been thinking about just changing it up and going a totally different direction. Not some wacky build, some stupid build, but just a totally different direction and see how that actually affects my gameplay.
Yeah.
So...
And I found I was doing the same thing when I was taking Neath up to 10.
Yeah.
Like, I was doing wacky stuff. I was buying items I'd never bought before and totally changing my build. And sometimes for the better, most of the time for the worse.
Yeah.
But, it just gets boring. And I know I play Neath a lot anyway, but when you're playing it just to get those worshipers, to get them to that next level...
Yeah.
It just becomes, like you said, it's just the MMO grind.
Grind.
Yeah.
I don't want the word grind in there.
Yeah, I don't like the word grind.
And I still think that whole system's going to have to change at some point, because in a year, to me, the whole system's pointless.
Yeah.
Because everyone will have 10s.
When we're all 10s, it means nothing. It means nothing.
Yeah.
They might as well not have the system, right?
Yeah.
Well, we're all 10s. We're all the same. So, yay, us.
Yeah.
Are there going to be like 10s with a star? You know what I mean? Like, are they going to add on some sort of
or smiley
pseudo
faces?
level?
Can we have smiley
arbitrarily,
faces?
they can just always,
Star plus, with a smiley face.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think they're going to have to come up
Actually,
with something.
me and Brent were talking earlier about level 10s. So, say I have a level 10 Anubis or Neath or who cares, a level 10 something. And then I'm like, well, they're level 10, so let me get all of my other masteries up. Let me max out my masteries. What is it, 48, 49 right now? I don't know, something like that.
49.
And then, say, a couple months go by, and I haven't played Anubis in like 3-4 months. And I come back to them, and then I queue up, and they're like, oh, we got a badass over here. We got a level 10 Anubis. Oh, yeah, we're set up, brother.
And you're like, think again.
Yeah, and I'm like, but I haven't played this guy in like 4 months, so...
and maybe there's patches. Maybe they've reworked him completely.
I know, and I have no idea.
Imagine
he's
someone...
now a physical god. You're like, what the crap do I buy?
Yeah.
My Neath build.
Yeah.
Well, imagine the guys that took Vulcan all the way up to 10, and then they changed him... from being a guardian to a
I know,
to a
freaking
mage.
Yeah.
And
I know people would have like hated it, but I think at that point needs a reset. Like they need, I don't know. We discussed this like so thoroughly in another podcast, and I think let's give them some time to see if they do and then revisit. But yeah, something's gonna have to be done. I think.
Yeah,
I predict. Kevin, make a Reddit post. Get this changed.
I'm on it.
While you're doing that, let's hear what Brent's been up to.
Well, I already kind of talked about the Reddit stuff. We had a bunch of 3v3s with Eric and Kevin and I that...
Epic ones.
For the most part...
We do not lose with this combo, except for tonight, but that doesn't matter. That one, we can
It's
disregard
this computer you're playing on.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So it's
what's
a lot
our
of
combo?
fun.
What's our combo?
I've been doing the Twitch Amir. I got to point out the Twitch thing because
Yeah, baby.
I cheated to get
The
it.
Twitch skin.
And then Anubis. Eric's on Anubis.
Yep.
And then Kevin's on the new Nemesis.
Yeah.
And it was just like, man, it was like Miley Cyrus wrote a song about what we were doing to the other team.
Oh.
Because we came in
That
like a
horrible.
wrecking ball.
That one. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No?
Horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible? Sorry.
Yeah.
It's all right.
I didn't sing the song. But I now know what it's about. It was about that threesome.
Yeah. What I kind of like about the initiation that we do is you will blink and freeze. You blink in and you freeze folks,
every
right?
time. Yeah.
And then I go in. I'm right behind you. I know that. You communicate that you're doing that. Okay, ready for this? Blink, freeze, right? You blink and freeze, and then I wrap them as they're frozen. So
and then I use my ult and take away their protections and take away their health.
Exactly. Nemesis moves in and then just burns them down. That's it.
And Eric either melts them or I smack them in the face.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's kind of our go-to 3v3 combo right now.
Yeah.
We also had another game that was pretty interesting where I was Kali, Brent was Ao Kwong, and Eric was Chalk.
Yep.
And for a while, like this was right after we'd come off on winning with our Nemamir Anubis win. So we were like, oh, let's try this. This is pretty cool. We'll try this one. And we were kind of getting like, it wasn't doing so hot. So we're like, oh, maybe we shouldn't have changed our team makeup at all. But then we started pushing back, and we ended up winning. So
yeah.
It was good. Like, I was afraid. I was like, oh, we're not going to win this one. And then we ended up, and then we did it. It was pretty great. I really like Kali, especially when you build her. This is one of my advice. Like, for Kali, you want to just give her physical protection out the wazoo. Or, sorry, physical penetration out the wazoo. Yeah. Because her passive gives her 15% extra physical penetration against her target. And then if you have extra physical penetration, when you're against your target, they're gone. You murder them. Like, it's not a challenge at all. Even if they're the tank, you just demolish them.
Like a detective calls you up on your cell phone and says, "Do you know Bro Jeff 7555? Because you just murderized him."
Yeah, basically.
That was weird.
Was it?
That was a bit of a stretch. Right?
Was it? Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm all about stretches.
Like everybody probably saw the confused look on my face during the development of that, and it really didn't go away.
Do you stretch, bro?
Our Nemesis Amir Anubis combo's got some great CC also. So that's really part of the helpful part. That Eric and Brent both have that hard CC.
Yeah.
And I have 2 slows. So
and then they bubble up though with the Magi. And it sucks because we know that, like, to break the bubble, the Magi bubble, you have to, Brent freezes them, break the bubble, and then now I can wrap them. But it kind of destroys the elongated stun that we're going for. We're going for a stun and another stun on top of that to elongate it. So the bubble really sucks against that. Enough, and I always see that as Anubis, because that's a really annoying thing to get, stunned and then ulted all the time. So so if I wrapping up people, they'll come out with a bubble, and I'm like, okay, time to switch targets.
See, and what do y'all think about this? Like, do y'all think that's okay, or do you think that maybe they could try not having all these actives that basically breaks everybody, like beads and
beads with
because that screws so back up too with the bubble. Because not flipping you, and now I'm here with all you guys. And
I mean, it's just there's a lot of stuff that negates the powers of the gods, which I mean, some of it should, but it just seems like it's gotten to the point where there's too much stuff that negates, and some of it is just the natural abilities of the gods. That they have certain escapes and stuff that break the CC that some of the other gods rely on, and it just it sucks.
Yeah.
Like
but is it okay? And is like frame the discussion. Like, is it fun to like have this cat and mouse kind of play? Like, okay, now you've negated this, and now I've got to go cooldown reduction to defeat your negation of mine. Like, is that good? Or
I mean to a certain degree, it does introduce because if you didn't have if you have the items that are available to negate the CC, if there's a god that has CC, they're basically forcing the other team to buy items to negate it.
Right.
But it's no less annoying. Like when I'm playing Neath and my root doesn't work on anybody, it's no less annoying. But I mean, it is part of the game, and it's hard to remove that aspect and make it so there's any like resemblance of balance, because there's so many gods that have CC of some sort, and a lot of them that have really hard CC that if there wasn't any items to negate it, you'd just be screwed.
Yeah.
I think what Raging Cajun is saying in the chat is important. Is that like when the other team is buying an item to counter build you, they're not buying something that they would have been buying normally. So you messed up their build somehow.
And that's kind of what I was alluding to. Okay. Is that you forced them to go in and buy an item that they probably didn't want to buy.
Exactly.
But they need to buy it because if they don't, they're going to be screwed, basically.
Yeah. And that's part of that balance.
And so, it makes sense. I'm just, because it is when you're on the other side of the coin, it is fun when you just screwed up their stuff,
exactly.
right?
Especially when there's like an Ares and he gets your whole team and you're all like, oops, and we all have beads, sorry.
And I say that like when I'm playing Neath and I see that there's an Ares on the other team, that I don't buy beads and think, oh well, he's not gonna get me.
And then he blinks in, and you're like, okay, I'm getting beads now.
No. If I see there's an Ares on another team, I usually, before I leave base the first time, I buy at least one level of beads.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Especially in arena.
Yeah,
because you have that extra. Well, for my builds, usually I have that extra like 500 or so.
Yeah.
Just snag.
I do like that though, the cat and mouse thing, that like you put it, because it changes the rules. Like when you think of it like a game of like Magic the Gathering, it's all about negating and changing the rules. You put out an artifact or an enchantment because you have to, change the rules in your favor, So getting like a bubble or getting like, protection or something actually changes the rules of the game for you, right? Yeah.
Well,
so
what
I
if
like
they
that. That's part of the
fun. Like other items to like counter that stuff, like something that could pop the bubble.
Well,
right?
I mean, just like in Magic, you counter that counter, and you keep going back, and that's what keeps people going and playing, So I'm all about that. Like,
so like they could add like a fourth tier to items. It's like, like when you're full build and you have extra money, that's when you would start getting these kind of fourth tier things,
right?
That add on little abilities like, break chains or break beads or something like that, and you could actually like then like activate it on someone like before you do the ult. Like maybe you couldn't do it on everybody, but like maybe there's a specific target.
Oh, so almost like a counter active.
Well, what about like penetration?
Like a third active ability that you can only buy once you have a full build or something.
Right.
I don't know.
Like penetration negates protection. Right. Well, first off, someone gets protection because you keep beating on them. Yeah. And then you get penetration to counteract that.
Yeah.
And then what do? Well, they try to negate your penetration with something.
Right.
They get an aura that then, lessens your... Well, I guess there's not an aura that lessens your penetration. But if there was one...
That would be an example of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
If it was part of the game, then people would definitely be getting it. So,
but yeah, I guess if they didn't have these kind of cat and mouse situations of items and actives, then you would basically have one build.
Yeah, and it would be pretty boring to play the game because there would be no, like you said, no thought into, like when I played Neath, I just buy the same exact build every single time, which sometimes I do.
Yeah.
But you'd buy the same build because there's nothing to respond to because there's no item that you can get to counteract what they're doing, and there's no item that they could get to counteract what you're doing.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to really respond to what they're doing, other than maybe like defense for, penetration and stuff. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it'd be no point in ever like really playing off the other team because there'd be no items to play off the other team with.
Yeah, and you would know what they were buying, and so you would know exactly how to build.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd basically have this build towards, okay, are they more physical or magical? That's kind of like all that would kind of go into your decision.
Smite would basically go from chess to checkers.
So I think maybe we were kind of saying that this kind of cat and mouse is a good thing.
Yeah.
And maybe even build on it.
Yeah.
Maybe it feels...
it's annoying at times.
And I think it's something that is... it comes later in the game. Like, that you don't learn that. You can tell if people are new because... Say, hey, I've pulled you in my chains with Ares 5 times, and none of you have beads yet. So you're probably new. You don't even know that item exists.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I think they need to add that to the tutorial. I forgot to mention this in the opening week. This week, Jacob's been playing a little bit. My son, he's 10, and he got Ares. Loves Ares. That's all he plays. Ares. That's all he plays.
You should get him in touch with Raging.
I know. I should let him play with the Raging Canadian and learn some stuff. And so I wanted to play with him, but I didn't want to bump him up to 30 level, and then he's like hating it.
Yeah.
So I made a completely new account because I also wanted to see how it works.
Yeah.
So now, how it works is you've got to play a tutorial. It puts you into tutorial, and it's a it's kind of painful if you know how to play the game because it tells you everything.
Yeah.
And basically forces you to buy this and forces you to do this, and you go through a match. Well, then you got to play 2 co-op matches. But I was lucky because I I can play with Jacob, and then you like mow down bots, and you're like, don't play like this because this isn't how you play in real life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is not real life, Jacob. Just we're gonna kill a bunch of people.
Yeah, do not emulate the bots because you will die every single time.
So we got through those, and then we played some matches, and I've got to say that you should all feel very, very small because my son, like when he was telling me he was playing, he was like, "Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Conquest and winning Conquest." Like he loves Conquest. Right. He's not scared like you guys to play some Conquest.
Has he gotten some BM action?
Afro.
He hasn't said anything about it. But there was, and he's pretty good with Ares. Now he's still learning like what to do. Like I think he's reading chat because they'll tell him like what lane to go to. You know, Ares go to whatever. You know, and I've had the talk with him before about
about the birds and the bees.
About the what would you call it? There needs to be a new one, like the birds and the bees, but basically like the jerks and the jerkies or something like. There's a bunch of a-holes on the internet.
There are actual birds and bees in Smite, by the way.
Bees and the M's.
Afros and the Amus and Cobs. Hey.
So he was playing Conquest, and I had to send him to bed, and he's like kind of looking at me like I'm in a game, Dad, and I'm like. I'll finish it up for you, man. Don't worry about it. So
he's like, "Oh man, you're gonna ruin my kill death ratio."
No, this was awesome because
are you winning or losing for him?
He was 0-3.
Okay.
With Ares, and they were pushing hard, and like I couldn't see chat, so I don't know if it was on or off, or they're yelling at him like, "Dude, learn to play Ares" or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I come in immediately, kill 2 people in the lane, push the tower, push 2 more lanes, like just killing people left and right, going with chains. It was just like a massacre. Like these people are like, "Oh my God, who is this god? What's going on?" and we mowed them down, and they lost. I mean, we won. We completely just. It was. I felt bad for the other team.
It was ugly.
Just worked hard,
but I loved it. It was so awesome, and I think I ended up at like 12-3 and something, and but it was a good game. And I just wonder what they were thinking, right? Like, oh my God,
why did he play so horribly that first like half of the match?
Like, what got into him all of a sudden?
So your son, like, did he see, like, is he aware of looking at like last matches, like previous matches or whatever? Like, thanks, Dad.
He hasn't said. I left it up so he could see.
Okay.
I want to see what his dad can do.
Yeah.
Hey, son, I got you a nice win back there. But like, I don't know if he's looking at builds and things like that. And I guess the whole roundabout thing was like, I think that's something that they need to teach maybe in the tutorial, like when they're doing this. Hey, this is because they actually tell you, hey, buy this item. It's good for Neath. They're teaching you Neath or whatever.
Yeah, but them teaching you to buy a certain item makes you think, oh, I should buy this item in every situation.
Right, but if they explain it, right? They're like, so-and-so bought this item, which will do damage back to you. Like, I don't, but like, how do you like not do the damage back to you? Don't shoot him? Oh, well, I'm going to lose this game then, but... Yeah, so I don't know how you would go about it the right way, but
because
maybe have Ares instead of Ra.
Yeah,
and he comes in and like change you, and then it stops and goes, if you had bought this item, you would not be dead right now.
But I completely understand when you were saying that the tutorials are painful if you know how to play the game, because every time I log in to my lower level character, and it starts
you do all the time.
Huh?
Apparently you do that all the time.
No. But when I did log in that one night where we decided to do that, the tutorials were driving me insane.
Yeah.
Like everywhere I went inside of the arena, something would pop up and the game would start talking to me and like, shut up, I just want to play.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I think we talked about this in a previous episode that maybe if you've played before or you've played a MOBA before, maybe either have it where it would be toned down or you could turn it off altogether.
Yeah.
And I remember...
I think we talked about the Blues, right? The Smurfs?
Yeah.
This is kind of like... Almost it kind of discourages smurfing. But which is not a bad thing.
But I'll tell you this, like... It wasn't long enough that it would discourage me in the future if I want to play the Smurf.
Yeah.
So I'd just be like, got a couple co-op matches.
And actually, we played enough that night that my Smurf is probably beyond the level where the tutorials would automatically pop up unless I entered a game mode that I'd never played before with that particular character.
Right.
So,
not that I'm ever going to Smurf again.
Liar.
Not really worth it anymore.
Okay,
Because
so
we're awesome players.
but you know what it is worth? What is worth it?
What is worth it?
Netflix. I don't know if y'all know this, but House of Cards second season. This show is A, epic, and B, they release the full season at the same time. They don't like piecemeal it, so you gotta wait a week. So you just go through. So like last night, that's what my wife and I did. It was just we watched like 4 episodes of it.
Jeez.
The season is awesome. The season is incredible. Kevin Spacey's the main character, and he's really good. But you can get it on Netflix, and you can actually get it for free right now. You can watch the first 2 seasons for free on us. Just go to netflix.com/deadworkersparty. Get you a month-long account where you can watch that. And then if you get done with that before your month is out, you can watch whatever you want.
Yeah.
Watch the Croods.
Watch the Croods if you want to.
Yeah, animated caveman. It's cool.
I've been watching Attack on Titan.
Oh.
Which
is that on Netflix?
Titan.
Yes, it is.
Attack on
cool.
the Titan.
At least
I'm
one
not that
season
into that.
of it is. I'm not sure if there's additional seasons.
I watched Spy Kids 3D.
Oh no!
No.
Why'd you even say that out loud?
Maybe they'll get that movie where we saw that Al Kwong's in and like a bunch of gods. What if they that needs to get on Netflix?
Yeah.
So we can watch that. But
Yeah,
anyway,
Thor. The second Thor. You know, I was watching the second Thor, like the newest Thor, and like Thor totally ulted in the movie.
Yeah, he does. I
But
know
Odin
that.
did nothing. He didn't do any kind of cool spells and stuff.
no.
Like he didn't create the
No, he didn't put his little
It's kind of like Smite.
arena thing up, or
I hate Odin. That's what
Odin.
I said.
Yeah.
But that's because I don't play him enough.
yeah.
But anyway, we just want to let you know you can get it, and it does help us out. So get you a free month of Netflix on us. That's netflix.com/deadworkersparty.
yeah.
Okay, so
Are we moving on?
Or
Yes.
did we miss some?
Yeah, yes.
Oh.
I mean,
I wanted to say a thing. I had a story.
All right.
Oh, we skipped you and Afro.
Yeah, skip
Because
both
we're
of
just,
us.
it felt like we were in discussion time for so long.
Yeah,
Sorry, that's
yeah.
my fault. So we just had a little break there. Nice little break. Okay, Kevin, how's your week?
I thought you were talking about Nisha and stuff.
Well, I wanted to talk about how much I hate BMers.
Okay.
So I had this one really. The match wasn't actually that bad. My team was fine. We lost. And we lost. I mean, okay, maybe the match was kind of bad. It was like 130-0. So we actually lost pretty badly. But I was playing Ninja, having a good time, sort of, playing Ninja. And then we finished the game, and the guys on the other team were like, easiest game ever.
Really?
Like, oh. And then said something like, Ninja, like, worst god for Conquest. Or not Conquest, it was Arena. Worst god for Arena.
What? That's lame.
And I was like, well, I mean, I went 20-5 last game, so
Nice.
I don't think so. I don't think I'm the worst god for Arena. He's like, well, it's really pretty bad. You just get shut down in team fights. And then there was like, that was the Artemis being mean, and then there was a Mage Amir who was also being mean. And I don't know why that got me so much, but I like shut the game down immediately after that fight. That was the first I'd logged in, was trying to play. That happened. I was like, I'm done for today.
Wow.
It's just like it's one thing when people on your team are mean. I don't know. I think it's worse almost when people on the other team are mean, because I feel like you won. Why do you have to also be an asshole? Right?
Yeah, especially when they win.
When you win, why? Like, leave me alone. You beat me. You win
Like,
already.
the
Okay?
only-
You should just tell them, why are you such a sore loser, jerk, and then leave.
Actually, that's what I said. I said I'd rather be bad at Ninja than be an asshole.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's how I responded.
The only
So-
thing that's worse is that when you're on a team and maybe you didn't have your best game, and someone on your team, after you've won, BMs you, and you're like,
we won. Yeah.
yeah, what's your problem, dude?
Yeah.
Like,
Did
be
you not
happy.
see that we won?
Yeah.
I'm just going to start telling them that I'm like high on heroin or something.
Yeah.
Phil, I'm glad you beat a smack whore, bitch.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
Do you think they'll come back at me after that? Like, oh, sorry.
You really can't diss a person that just basically said, "Hey, I'm a junkie, man."
You're right. I said.
That's my go-to thing when I lose like horribly. I'm like, sorry guys, first time in arena. Yeah.
I'm going to start sending him a message on a different account and go, dude, you just made my 4-year-old cry.
Oh, that's a good one, too.
Right? Like oh, dude, he's actually really good for 4.
That's awesome.
But that's just what I'm going to say. Don't BM. BMing is bad. It makes everyone sad, especially when you win. You know, just be happy that you won and move on. Say GG, say WP. That's my week.
Or how about this? Keep your freaking trap shut and just leave. You don't have to say a damn word.
Yeah.
Well, saying GG, WP isn't... There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're going to say something besides that...
Yeah, that's true.
Just leave.
Just shut your horrid mouth.
Just be like,
Just uninstall, honestly.
Go beat some other people who aren't as good as you.
Yeah. You're a jerk. You know, you should just quit the game altogether.
Go play law.
Go play law. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Losers of life is what it stands for.
You notice in the whole VGS, there's nothing negative to say in the VGS, so you can't really like shame somebody with the VGS. You ever notice that everything is positive in VGS?
The worst thing
except for like quiet, and that one's like,
and then they just go no.
Yeah,
like, quiet.
And it's like no, but there's
so you're wanting like. You suck and
no, I don't. I'm just saying that like the tone of the game is like, let's be positive, people. Let's have fun and play a game. Woo!
What if they had one that was VBM?
Oh.
And you did VBM and it just like gave out the definition of what BM is. Basically, like, talking bad to your teammates, blah, 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 makes you a big jerk face and quit doing it. And just every time they, like, start BM, you just type it, right? And they got to listen to this long, like, anti-BM thing.
Or make it so that you can target someone, and it just has a middle finger in the middle of the screen. It stays up for 5 minutes.
That's true, yeah.
These are great ideas for the games, guys.
Yeah.
And,
Hi-Rez, get on it.
Chris W2K says, that's too bad.
That's too bad.
That one's okay, like if somebody dies. And also, I guess you could say, you rock. Cancel that. That one's maybe borderline, but pretty much everything.
But really not intentionally.
There's also like the sarcasm one. Like if someone really like F's up, you can just be nice job.
Yeah.
I hate it when they do that.
Yeah, nice job.
So I guess you can kind of BM with VGS, but it's not really.
And people say good game when you're losing.
Yeah.
It's like...
Or like... beginning of the match, one person in your team dies, and then a teammate goes, "Good game." It's like,
yeah, and it's like,
it's
and
like then like as soon as 10-minute hits, it's like they want to surrender. You're like, dude, all towers are up. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
like, even kills.
Oh my gosh, I hate that in friggin' Conquest. When I think I might have already talked about this, but it was a while back. It was a couple weeks ago, and we were like not that far behind. And this guy's tried to surrender twice, and we actually won that game. And I was like, "This is why we didn't surrender, buddy."
I remember that. I think I was in that game with you.
You mean Bit? I think.
I think so. And it was just like, please quit doing that.
Well, I mean, I've been in like arena matches where you're like 50 tickets up, and people on your team are trying to surrender. I'm like, what are you doing? Do you not know what part of the screen has the score on it? We're winning.
Maybe can we get an auto deny like added? So no, just like so if like I don't really, I think there's a couple times jokingly like I'll vote for surrender, like, but for the most part I don't ever want to surrender. I'm okay with that, saying I'll never surrender.
But the default is no, right? If there's not enough yeses, default is no.
Yeah, but I always feel like when it's up on the screen, I want to say no.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes if you don't see no, you're like, well, maybe they don't see it, and so I'm going to hit yes.
I like during matches, especially if I'm way, way down and it's just, a pickup game. And someone starts a surrender vote, I like to automatically say no.
VBN?
Or I vote no. Just
F7.
Especially if one of the people is BMing, I'm like, oh no, we're gonna play this entire match.
Yeah, and you're gonna like it.
BMing, I just want to get out of there.
I'm gonna come lane with you. Actually, I'll see you in a second.
Yeah, hang out, buddy.
If I have to suffer you, then you have to suffer me.
Man.
Oh
yes.
What did you do this week?
I worked a lot. I worked about 35 hours across 2 days.
Oh my gosh!
Worked at getting a god up to 10. Another one? Or?
No. Worked at the TV station.
Oh.
Cleaning snow off of satellite dishes.
TV station like Smite? Is that what that is?
No.
Yeah. Worked on a new build?
No.
No.
What? And my
wait, do you do stuff that isn't Smite?
Yes, to pay my bills.
That's weird.
Well, if we got better, we could be splitting $160K.
Yeah.
In a month.
Yeah.
The Quacken has a bill. Is that you've been working on Poseidon? Sorry, that was a stretch.
Yeah,
that was
pretty. Yeah,
sorry.
I don't know how I feel about that.
But yes, I haven't been able to play because I've been stuck at work, and then after that, I went into hibernation.
Oh, okay.
So that was my week.
That's too bad.
That's too bad.
All right, Brent, we can move on to discussion now.
Well, I don't know. Do we have a discussion?
We had some pretty good discussions just now.
Yeah,
well, I have a little thing I think is interesting from High Risk 2 that you might all be interested in hearing about.
Let's hear it.
So he was making a post about like the god balancing and stuff that happens, and he basically just said like I'll read the first part of this. Also, to address a point, this is from High Risk 2. Some people have speculated that we sometimes release gods overpowered on purpose. I can definitely say this is never our intention. In fact, this is the interesting part. We have very good data that shows us that it is financially detrimental to us to release gods overpowered. What do you guys think about that?
To release gods overpowered.
It's detrimental to them to do it?
It's financially detrimental for them to release gods overpowered. It is the opposite of what they want to do.
Right. I mean, I think that is legitimately what they don't want to do. I think that a lot of times when they release a god, it might be overpowered. That's unintentional, obviously.
And it's hard to introduce a new aspect to the game and completely understand how it'll affect.
One of the things that's definitely true that a lot of people just say a god's OP because they have no idea how to play against that god.
Or they have
They're just like, I don't understand how to deal with this god. It must be OP.
Yeah,
and they're definitely bits. I mean, Nemesis was pretty overpowered for a little bit there, but they kind of fixed her, and she's balanced. She's still hard to play against. I'm still not proficient at playing against Nemesis, but I definitely don't think she's overpowered anymore.
Well, but if you think about like all the gods, it seemed kind of like Amu's and Cobb when he came out, they nerfed him, right? In a patch right after it.
I mean, pretty much every god as soon as they're introduced, usually the following patch has some type of nerf. Not always, but usually there's some type of nerf because it's just some aspect that they didn't anticipate. But after people playing that god for like a week, they were seeing patterns and they're like, well, we need to adjust this because it's throwing the game out of balance, and we can't introduce this god in tournament play if it's so out of balance that he's going to dominate. So, every god kind of has that trial phase. That's why new gods don't get to play in the
they're automatically banned.
Yeah, automatically banned from league play and tournaments.
But I keep reading this statement I've read it about 10 times now. And I don't see where he actually says why it's financially detrimental. Like, kind of reading between the lines, I would say why I would think it was financially detrimental is because people would be mad that there's an overpowered god. But I don't think that would... Well, like, the game's broken if there's no OP god. So people don't want to play that. But he doesn't say that. And so I don't... I think if there's an OP god... I think they're going to sell more of them that week through gyms or through favor or whatever. And I think that's okay. I don't think whether they're doing it intentionally or not, and I take him at his word. If they say they're not, then fine. I'm good with that. I think it's still good because I think more people will play that god that's considered OP while it's OP, and they can get more data and figure out what they need to do to balance it the next week.
Yeah.
And so I think it's okay if that happens, and I think it's better than being underpowered and then no one plays them, and then they got to throw a dart at a board to see how to make them more,
well,
better.
And like I said, I take him at his word. I don't think it's intentional. I think it's just they made a god that is, on paper, seems like it's a good god to be able to be balanced against the other gods. It's just little aspects of it maybe they overdid something or underdid something else that it needs to be tweaked, but you only know that after the god's been played and you have the data to back it up.
Right.
And it's also, the curse of programming in general is that they're only like, I don't know how many employees at IRS, I don't know, like maybe 50? Like, you can only, 50 people can only do so much, but then when suddenly 1 million people are trying to use that character,
all those
things happen that you couldn't anticipate because people are weird and they do weird stuff.
Yeah. On purpose.
Well, exactly.
And I would like to, and this is one of the questions maybe we should slip to Kelly in the next one is, what is the testing process of a new god? Like, they make it and they put it out into their test client. Like, LOL actually has, like, where you can join the PTR. You can, like, download it, and there's people actually playing on that, playing the new stuff before it's released.
Okay.
So they get some good data on how to make these changes before it's even released to the public. So there's less... I mean, there's still stuff that slips in that got changed, but do they have something like that? I assume they do because Bard always has to load up, the test client to show the stuff.
Oh yeah.
But how many people are actually playing that test client? Like, is it just
employees?
Is it just employees, or do they have like a group of people? How do you get into that group? And I think I think LOL's big enough where they can afford to basically have this two groups.
Yeah.
Where I don't know if Smite is big enough yet to have two groups to split them up because, there's a lot of people, who wouldn't want to play, I guess, in that, but I think there's a lot of people that would want to play the new god, like, as soon as it's out, right?
Yeah. We would.
Yeah. Like, we'd be playing the test client, so I don't know.
Now, there's also, Stu also posted this week, you guys can see that there, this chart that shows how they, some of their, stats for how they balance gods.
Yeah.
And it has these bullet points that are, it's by version, the x-axis is the version, and then the y-axis are, like, the more complicated bits, so they can see over time, like, how the god changed. And
and
like,
some of them are, like, very drastic. Like, my eyes suck, and... Oh, that's gold earned changed on one of them. Is this for a specific god?
This is for Zeus.
Okay.
Yeah, this one's for Zeus right here.
So it's funny to see on certain patches where all of a sudden he's, like, getting a ton more money.
Yeah. Or, like, from, like, version... I don't know. I have no idea when these versions were. Not a clue. But it's, like, from this, like, 0.1838 to 1850, his win goes down. Well, actually, no, heroes. Before that, it goes up, like, a whole, like, 10%, his winning percentage.
Yeah.
In one patch. So... I would say it's something that buffed him there, relative to the community anyway.
Yeah, and
obviously this giant gold earn spiked. So,
and obviously they want that number at like 50%.
Right.
Right, because you want a win ratio of 50%, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm sure they have an ideal number for every single one of these categories. So when a god's not hitting that number, they look at, okay, well, why, and what can we do to make it hit that number? They make that tweak. Oh, well, it went twice what we wanted. Okay, we know to half what we just did, and it should.
Yeah, it's a little bit of science, a little bit of just
voodoo.
Yeah,
magic.
I think this is interesting here too. That the Zeus's kills to death ratio is almost exactly 1 in this most recent one. And I figure that's probably their goal too, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it makes sense for that. You want the kills to be higher than the deaths a little bit. But not a lot. You don't want it to be, like what Kronos was when he was OP, and I could go 21-1. Like, that's obviously wrong. But it's all right for... I think having a 1-to-1 as a goal is all right. Especially if that's across the board. If across the board all the gods are like 1-to-1, then it's basically all on skill then, right?
Yeah.
Who's better at playing that god? They're going to be the ones that do better then. It's not going to be the god's kit if his average overall is 1-to-1.
Yeah.
Man, I want this spreadsheet.
You're going to be able to look at everyone?
Yeah.
See what they all are?
Interesting.
But, so that's pretty, it's cool. It's really cool to see, like, kind of into their inner workings, how they balance stuff. And I think it makes sense looking at, it looks at a lot of weird things. I like how it also looks at average bot kills. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Does that mean minions?
Bot kills? I don't know. Maybe actually a bot game. See, I'm wondering if it's also financially detrimental for Hi-Res to release gods that are underpowered. Right now we're live on Twitch. We have someone in the chat room, D Snares, says, Nuwa was released underpowered, and she still is. So if you feel like a god is underpowered...
Would you buy it?
Well, does that destroy the game because maybe people bought it and go, oh, I feel like it's underpowered. Oh, this game sucks. It's not balanced. I'm out. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the same could probably go for both. If somebody's overpowered, it might sell more, but still it destroys the game. And if it's underpowered, then you feel like you've been cheated and you're out. I don't know.
Well,
I think it might just matter... Is the god fun to play, right?
Yeah. But also...
Is this god fun?
It's like what Brent was saying earlier. If you have a god that's introduced that's underpowered, then once people start learning that it's underpowered, a lot less people are going to play it, so there's less data on that god for them to do the balancing.
Oh, right.
So,
and much more BM if you pick that god.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, go pick
other players discouraging you.
They suck. Yeah.
Other players discouraging you from playing that new god, which means even less data for them to tweak on.
Yeah.
So,
I think he's right. Like, I don't know if it's financially detrimental. I don't know if it's financially beneficial, but I think we can all agree that having a well-balanced game, new gods, old gods, everything is better all around.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So I don't think they would, I kind of used to have this like, oh, they probably buff them up to, try to sell more skins and whatever. But
yeah.
You know what? If they make a cool god and it comes out and it's fun to play, like you were saying, that's what's going to get people to buy it.
Yeah.
Not that it's OP and it's, so.
And I do like that a lot of the new gods that they're introducing, they're trying to introduce a lot more or different mechanics from the gods that already exist.
Yeah.
And that's what attracts me to a lot of the new gods, is that the mechanics of how they operate is different than pretty much anything that's come before them.
Yeah.
So that aspect, adding something unique, something that's interesting and fun to play, for me it counts more than it being balanced immediately, because I know eventually it'll get there. It might take a while for it to get completely balanced, but eventually they'll be able to hold their own, or if they're able to hold their own a little bit too much, get brought down a little bit. But
yeah.
And I want to see them explore new abilities that explore the space.
Yeah.
Not to get all
cosmic
more
on us,
cowbell on us, but
more
we need to explore the space here. But and I was thinking of a cool spider ability, but we already have Arachne, so I don't know if there's another spider god to come out. So maybe you could replace her ability. Maybe even her ult, even though the ult's probably one of her coolest abilities. But what if she could climb on walls? And climb faster.
Like on any wall?
Amir's walls, on Nuwa's poles, but pillars, like in Joust, like even climb over like to the other side of the thing.
Like in an arena, instead of going out of the doors, climb over the wall.
Yeah, and maybe even like run around the side of the thing
and maybe jump off and land on someone's head.
Yes! Like, I think I'd be like, whoa, that's crazy!
So, that's pretty cool mechanic, actually. That's unique, right? But it has to be balanced in such a way. So, okay. So, here's the question to kind of end all balance questions. Okay, so, what is balance? What is the ultimate balance? Does it mean that all of the gods can output as much damage and negate, the same much, damage as one skilled player? Say I'm equally as skilled at Smite as Paul, as Brent, as Kevin. We are exactly, which is impossible in real life, right? But say we're exactly, like we're clones of each other. And we can, output and negate that much damage. Like, is that pure balance?
Well, I think that stat sheet. Yeah. Like, you've got to take this data of thousands of players, because like you said, you can't pit 5 players against each other and be equal.
Yeah. Right.
But you can pit thousands of players in all the different classes and get an average of all these.
Statistically, you'll get how it's played regardless of level.
Yeah.
Or
so kind of a hive mind kind of thing. So like if everybody can do around 50% or in the middle, that's what they're striving for with balance, you would think, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't, like what you were saying, is it how much damage dealt versus how much damage you can take, or...
Yeah, because there's two sides. You either deal damage or you take damage. There's nothing else that you do in Smite,
Well,
right?
I think it would depend on the
Climb
class.
Or climb
Healing.
walls.
Not yet.
I think it would depend on the class, because a guardian is not going to do, in general, as much damage as a hunter or a mage,
Right.
because they play a different role. I think, like, when you're trying to balance, for the most part, you're trying to balance against other gods that are in that class, and then trying to balance the classes against each other.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, I actually
Okay.
like that a lot. Because there are these, like I said, people think Ninja is the worst assassin, which I think is ridiculous. But apparently, that's a comment. I didn't know that actually. Found it out. Apparently, Ninja is the worst assassin. All right.
Yeah.
They just don't know that when they ult them, they've got to wait for it to say attack before they hit the button.
Yeah,
always screw that
quick
up.
time events.
These are the same people that don't know that when you throw Thor's hammer, you can click it again to teleport to where the hammer
That's right. Yeah. And,
So ignore him, Kevin.
And Sobek's ult can be stopped short, huh?
That's-
for
yeah.
half damage.
Yeah.
As is Ymir.
But I think we've been talking for like an hour.
Yeah.
Who are we?
Yeah.
All right. There's a little quick news thingy this week. This is small. Don't worry.
Okay.
Assault is going to be changed again.
Ooh.
It's going to go back to being all random, except the healers will be balanced. So they're going to add like
That's weird.
another like.
I kind of like how it's balanced right now.
Yeah.
Well,
Except for the healers. Like,
Yeah.
to me, it's
Yeah.
like, that's the missing pieces. Make it balanced
Yeah, yeah.
with the healers.
Yeah.
But
Instead
now
of,
they're like, screw the other balance. Let's just do healers.
I
That's
like
interesting.
having a guardian against, guardian for guardian.
Yeah, hunter for hunter. Yeah, everything.
Just give each team a healer.
yeah.
Like,
But see, it's tricky because like Cupid is a hunter, but also a healer.
Well-
Guan Yu is a, you know what I mean?
but,
Like,
okay, so you have a Cupid on one team who's a healer, then have it where one of the other gods, Ra, he's a mage, but he's also a healer. So make sure it doesn't matter what.
but it's weird though because it's not physical. But I see what you mean.
Well, and I
Yeah.
think y'all are crazy
What?
calling Cupid a healer. He has a healing mechanic,
Not an
but it is
awesome-
crap
not a great
compared
healer,
to the other healers.
but yeah, I
right?
mean,
So,
Yeah.
like, I would feel screwed.
it's a better healer than Amuz and Cobb,
Well-
who heals himself.
Right.
You
But,
know?
yeah. Like, I would put him in the same healing as Chalk and Amuz and Cobb.
well,
Yeah.
and I,
You know, he's going to do a couple thousand instead of, like,
and then of
tens
course like
of thousands.
Hell
Right?
Yeah.
has this a great AOE instant heal.
Yeah,
Whereas-
like Ra versus Guan Yu. Like Guan Yu is an AoE healer, but not.
But it's
Well-
small. It doesn't even scale.
what?
So I'm just saying I wouldn't put Cupid in. I would keep Cupid in. Even that extra healing, I'm not worried about.
well, but
Yeah.
Like, so I would keep him in the carry category.
what I was getting at is, because we've played assault matches where the other team had,
like three healers,
three healers,
and,
and we had none.
yeah, and
Yeah.
So
Get
having a
destroyed.
Cupid, even though he doesn't do as much healing as the other healers, it's better than none.
right. But if they put in a healing, like, okay, you're each gonna get healers, I would be mad if that was my healer.
Yeah.
like, don't put him in the category as healer.
That's hard
But
to balance though. Like say like AoE healers versus targeted healers. Like Aphrodite versus Chang'e. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you really
no, it is
balance
different,
that?
but I think
For hell, right?
I think they're balanced enough. Is it like, and I don't think you say every match each team has a healer.
Yeah.
I say basically they random one team, random gods, 5 random gods. Pff. Okay, now let's match these categories across. If they got a healer, then okay, we'll do another healer. You
And
know,
then the rest will be random again.
But
and they
if,
can even do it as well as this. They could have this balance sheet because they have the stats built into the game. I'm sure to know.
Yeah.
Okay, they normally heal 20,000. Okay, this side's going to get a healer that normally heals 20,000.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Go ahead and do that. This one normally does this much damage. Okay, this one normally does this much damage.
Right.
This one
Yeah.
normally defends this much. You know.
But on the flip side, if that first team that gets randomized doesn't get a healer at all, then the other team doesn't get a healer at all.
exactly. So it's even.
Yeah.
But I don't know about this. I will. Okay. In the past, I've been the same way about these changes, and just I'm gonna say I'm gonna give this one a chance.
Yeah.
Let's see how it plays out, and then we'll bitch and moan after that.
Yeah, and
I'm kind of excited.
Honestly, I think we will bitch and moan about it because them adding that balance aspect where it was, class against class, improved the games, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I kind of see where they've basically, if they're going to take that away, but just have it where the healers are balanced, it kind of, I don't know. I don't know if I can go back.
Well, and do we have info on what that means? Are they going to definitely have a healer in both teams? Is Cupid considered a healer?
I think what they're
actually they didn't go that far. They just mentioned this can be changed and healers will be balanced. Now I'm actually looking forward to this because I think it's hilarious when you get a team of like 4 tanks and they have a team of like 4 assassins.
Yeah, and
Guardian versus
it's fun, but I think there should be, and it's hard to say this because there's already in some opinions too many queues, but there should be a queue that is ARAM.
Yeah, absolutely. ARAM. Okay, so and I think
I think that would be it. I don't know.
Well, but that would give you the situations where you have these zany combinations, and you have to figure out how to win the game.
And I think basically what they should do is let you know. I agree with you. I think they should, and just like they have the 2 arenas, the only difference they need to make is let you know what arena is being queued for.
Yeah,
because I think this would tell them 2 things. What are their players enjoying? Because right now they don't have. There's no way to get stats on are people enjoying the new arena.
Yeah,
because you're not queuing for the new arena. You're just queuing for arena.
Yeah. And then going, oh damn it, I got the new one.
Yeah.
Or damn it, I got the old one.
Yeah, and I like them both fine. I don't really care. But I think to get that data, and maybe they just take the data. Are more people overall signing up for arena? Maybe I don't know. Another good question to ask them, but I think they could do exactly that as long as they let you know which one you're going into. Because, like, I would rather, I don't know, I would almost rather play the arena that was balanced.
Yeah,
I mean the assault.
Sorry. And it, like what Nivik was saying, it is fun back when it was completely random, where you would get these zany combinations that you thought you had no chance of winning, and you managed to pull it out.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, most of the time, I want it balanced because it can snowball so easily, and it's fun for the team that's winning, but it really sucks for the team that's losing. Whereas if you had some type of balance, at least you give both sides a chance. Yeah.
See, that's part of. I mean, some people in the chat are kind of mentioning this. That's kind of the point. It's random, right? Sometimes, shit happens and it sucks.
Yeah, but
and it's random. Like it doesn't. It's like this isn't what the game is. But does that mean
it's a good match? Like this is basically came over from LoL. They actually have ARAM in there.
Yeah,
which is truly all random, all mid, and it came from people doing it on a map on their own, and they made up this thing like, okay, and just gentleman's agreement, we're going to agree to random, and then we'll go all mid and not go back unless you die. That was the only way you would go back. Gentleman rules. Well, people play it, and we're doing it so much that they said, well, let's make this actually a map mode in the game,
right? And said, hey, that's
so of
fun.
course
People
Smite said, hey, people like it, so let's do it. But if you can improve on something, why not?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't mean it's the best method.
Well, High Res here is telling us. They are straight up telling us what is happening. They're saying that what is the most important about Assault is the healing balance. They're straight up yelling it in our faces right now, right?
Yeah.
By making this very important change, they are saying that what really matters about Assault is the healing balance, right? I mean, loud and clear, right?
Right.
I mean, or else they wouldn't be making this change. So to us, all those times when we, bitch and whine about, oh, well, we lost because they had all this healing. They had Raw and Hell and all these healing.
And somehow they got another Raw. I don't even understand.
And we did, in fact, lose, But, and right now they're like admitting it and saying, okay, guys, We understand what was going on. We'll fix it.
And it possibly was pressure both from the faction is like, oh, well, we lost this match because we didn't have a healer and add 3.
Yeah.
And also a push from the faction that wants, the all random.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and what would probably
fantastic.
solve some of this is if they had a custom match where you actually saw the custom matches and you could make non-private custom matches that didn't need passwords.
Yeah.
So then you just looked and said, oh, these are the rules. I like those rules. I'm going to join. And then it just waited until it had enough people.
Yeah.
So then you can make all the crazy rules you wanted. And they could add in all the crazy rules from the daily matches and whatever is different things.
Because you can do that in LoL, can't you? Just build a match.
That basically build a match and it sets it there, and you can look down and go, okay, I like that one.
Yeah, and then let anyone join that looks at a list. Or I don't remember. I haven't played LoL in forever.
You can make it private, or you can make it where it's just open to public, so they scroll down and find matches.
And I really like that idea.
Yeah,
because there's some custom matches I want to try out. I want to try our no minion arena.
Oh god!
Oh god!
Those last forever. They last hours.
Jeez!
If you've never played a no minion, yes, don't do it though. Don't play a no minion arena. It will last hours.
We're doing it next week.
We did it. We'll never do it again.
Oh god!
That was fun. I don't know why you guys hate it so much.
It might be fun for one night. It might be a good video, right?
Yeah.
People will say what's this crazy stuff?
Why is this a 10-hour video? Weird. What's this all about?
Part 1.
So, also just quick thing, the updated scoring for the tournaments. All the North American teams are in the same order. Their spreads are all pretty solid, so I don't think there's going to be any changes up there. We got Cognitive, Team Dignitas, Snipe, Denial, and Clash and Slash in order 1 to 5. However, in the European region, there is a lot of crazy flip-flopping going on every week. Is different.
Where's my sandwich? Where's our team?
Yeah, where's our team?
Gimmio Sandwich is not there anymore.
No!
Now we have friggin', I don't know what their name is, but it's line.
It's like
pipe,
pipes, right?
pipe.
Like vertical.
Pipe.
There's
I don't
pipes.
know what it is. But then we got, Cloud9 HyperX is now in first again, and Solomon is now in second, and now Torch is in third, and Team Q's in fourth. So,
and then we have, what is your team name? Pipe.
5 lines or something.
Urge to kill rising.
But the enemy's pretty set, but Europeans, craziness
I'm
happening.
not yet, but I will need to after the show.
That's right.
I guess that's it.
Yeah, I think we had a lot of good discussions.
That was. We get heated, man. We get really into it.
We made some
intense.
breakthroughs. I think this is a good session.
I think
Yeah,
so too.
and if this is your first time listening to the show, go back and listen to. Just listen to the new ones. But they're going to be better.
Go back to
Every
episode
week.
27, but don't listen any later than that.
That's right.
Okay.
I don't know what he's
Good.
talking about.
Sounds great.
And we will see you at the tournament in March.
Yeah.
The 160K tournament now.
60K tournament. It'll probably be 200K by then.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
So keep
Hopefully.
buying your pool sightings.
We stream every single week. This is a weekly show, so look us up on iTunes, or I don't know how you're hearing this. If you're not, I don't know. We
Found our website. I tripped
Superman
on
hearing.
the internet and found the website.
Yeah, go to deadworkers.com. We have many other podcasts. Also, our YouTube channel, youtube.com/deadworkersparty. And, come and watch us live on Twitch.
Yes.
Get involved. Send us stuff. Talk in the chat room.
Yeah, and if you follow us on Twitch, it'll let you know when we stream out. So that's a really good way to
follow us on
be
Twitter
aware.
at Deadworkers. We always tweet that we're live with this show.
We're also we should also mention this earlier in the show next time, but we are sending in questions to Kelly. We sent in the first 10 or 11 this week, and hopefully we'll get them back next week. So if you have questions that you would like to know about the game that could come from Kelly about what's going on in the community, or even some tech stuff that we can get them to answer, send them in to us at smite@deadworkers.com, and we'll compile a list of the best 10 each week and send them over and see if we can get them answered.
Yeah. You can also call us 662-736-8260. Leave us voicemails, and I don't think we've ever gotten one.
Oh, we did early before you were on the show, but I think you scared people off. So
great. All right, well, show's over.
We'll start
someone should call
like
it and test it out, and just leave us a test message about
we'll start checking.
Who's your favorite god. Tell us your favorite god and your favorite arena mode,
and what you're wearing.
Yes.
And what you're wearing.
But make it short, because then we can play like 10 messages in it, and we might play these at the end of the show or something.
Yeah.
But like
a
if we get a bunch of messages, we'll play them all.
Yeah.
Like,
and what's in your pockets?
Yeah.
Yes.
And what
now
color?
You're getting crazy.
What
and
color
stupid.
are your bed sheets?
I think someone's been doing some of the. Never mind.
One very.
I will self-moderate myself.
Yeah.
But one very important thing you must always remember to do.
Smite on!